Hello, good day to you. Today I'm making this video to demonstrate to you how to use Firewalld utility to configure firewall on your Linux systems. Firewalld is an alternative utility to the IP table command uh, that's been on the Linux systems for quite a while. The Firewalld aims to make configuring firewalls a little bit easier. The main command in Firewalld is for configuring firewall is the Firewall CMD command. This topic can maybe of more importance to you if you're planning to take the RHCE exam. Under the exam, you'll be asked to configure some firewalls. The method you use is totally up to you. But personally, I think Firewall CMD it's a little bit easier to use. So let's go to the terminal. I am on actually I'm on a Fedora server. I'm on Fedora 25 the server edition, and I'll be using this server to demonstrate how you can use Firewalld to configure your firewalls. So ordinarily, if you run the Firewall CMD command, Firewall CMD, it doesn't do anything because the power of this command actually comes with the options. So if we use it with the -help, you see it came up with a lot of options. So you can do a lot of things with this command. So but we are not going to do everything, but I will walk you through some of the most common and some of the most important part of this command. So the first thing I will introduce to you is the concept of zones. So Firewalld actually has the concept of zones. So you can have different firewall in different zones. So depending on which zone your interface card is, so that is your network interface. So you can put your network interface in any of these zones. So the firewall under that zone will apply to your network interface. So that means even if you have multiple interface cards on your system, these interface cards can be in different zones. So you see on this system I have this couple of zones. So another command that you can see to actually see, you can see the active zone and you can see the configuration that we have on this zone right now. So when I do Firewall CMD list all, that tells me the information about my current firewall settings. So for example, you see the zone, the current zone, the active zone, the target, the default, some options about ICMP. But one interesting thing here is the interfaces. So you see I have two interfaces on this system. Both of them are in this zone. So the services that are allowed. So in Firewall Firewalld, we have the concept of services, and services refers to like things like SSH, DNS, HTTP, FTP. So and you see other options that are available under this command. So with every command that you run with Firewall CMD, you can specify the zone, because as you can see we have multiple zones. So you can specify explicitly the zones by using the --zone command option. If I let me run it with let me run my command with another zone. Let's say I choose to run with the external zone. You see, so I see the options that I have under the external zone. Currently, I don't have any interfaces under my external zone. One interesting thing is the masquerade. So if you are not familiar with masquerading, you might want to check that out. It helps. You may need it when if you need to turn your server to a router. So under the external zone, you have the masquerade option. So you see, under different zones, we have different firewall configuration. So that is one of very key information that you need to understand. So another option that we can use is getting the default zone. So I can, if I don't know what my default zone is, so I can just get default zone. So you see, it says my default zone is federal server. So another option would be, okay, get active zones. You may not like, I don't think this is a popular option, but you may also want to use it to know which zones are active. And actually this gives a little bit more information as regards to the interfaces. So I have two interfaces under my federal server, and that's the only zone that is active. I can move my interface to other zones, but I will leave that to you as an exercise. Let's go ahead. Let's move ahead. So one very important aspect of Firewall CMD, like I mentioned earlier, is the concept of service. So we can, you remember when I ran the Firewall CMD list all. So you see, it says services under the Firewall CMD list all. So we can add services and we can remove services. So actually, for this demonstration, I have on this server, I am running HTTP. So I am running an HTTP server. So and when I do call on my locals, it says $stack is here. So my server is the IP of my server is 10.0.0.100. So let me go to another server and try to do a call. Actually, which, if you can look at my screen, I already tried that. So if I try to do a call on 10.0.0.100, it said failed to connect to 10.0.0.100 port 80, no routes to host. That is because I don't have HTTP under my services. So if you look under my services, I don't have HTTP, so nobody can access HTTP on my server from outside my server. So just to confirm to you that my IP address is 10.0.0.100. This is my interface that I'm using. That's the BREX interface. So you see, I wasn't able to connect to it. But let me add. I can add my service. So I will use add service, and I will see HTTP. So you see, it's a success. So if I go back to my other server, now I'm successful. Say $stack is here. So so you see, I was able to add a service. So I can add multiple service on one line. I can add a different service that I have. So, but how do you know what service you can add? How do you know what service you can add? You can actually use another option called get services. Get services allows you to know what services are available that you can add on this system. And what you can add depends on what you have maybe installed or configured on your system. So I actually have a lot of services that I can add. So that is an option for you. So but let me do something. There's another option called reload. So if I do reload, let's see what happens if I try to access this server again. When I did reload, I cannot access my HTTP again. Why? Because when I did the reload, my configuration was lost. That because I had to configure my hard service with a very important option, which is called permanent. Permanent helps write your configuration to a file, making it persistent. This is very important, especially on the exams, because if you reload or you reboot your server, if you don't use the permanent option, you are going to lose your configuration. So if you see, I use the permanent option. Let's see if we are going to be able to access it. No, we are still not able to access it. That is because whenever you use the permanent option to configure anything, you have to reload the Firewall CMD. So now I did reload. So let's try again. Now I am successful. So you see, that is the power of the dash permanent option. It's very important. It helps you to make your configuration permanent. So don't forget that if you need to make your configuration permanent. So let me introduce another very important option, which is the add port. So let's say when we did the get services, let's say there's a particular service you want to allow, but it is not listed here. So how do you allow it? You can allow it by using the an alternative way is by using the hard port. So let me actually remove. I can remove service HTTP, and I want to use the permanent option because I want to remove it permanently. So like I said, anytime you use the permanent option, you have to do a reload. So when I do a reload, I've removed my HTTP. So if I do list all, I don't have HTTP listed in my services anymore. So what I want to do right now, I want to hard port. So I want to do hard port. So rather than using HTTP, I want to hard port 80 with the TCP option, with the TCP protocol. When you specify the port, you have to specify the protocol. The protocol can either be UDP or TCP. So right now we're specifying TCP. So I press enter. So you notice I did not use the permanent option here. So because I didn't use the permanent option, my configuration is going to take effect immediately, but it will not survive a reload or a reboot. So if I go to my other server and I try to access, okay, yeah, I was able to access my HTTPD because I used the add port, TCP option. Sorry, add port 80/TCP option. So I can make this permanent, but let's say I don't want to make it permanent. Let me remove this so that I will add back. The HTTP. So I will add back and I will do a reload. So what else can we do with this command? So one important thing that we can actually do with this command comes with what is called reach rule. So reach rule is more advanced configurations. So let's say we want to allow access to a particular service only from a certain subnet or a particular IP address. So for example, let me actually remove my TCP. Let me remove my service. Sorry, my HTTP again. Permanent and reload. So let's say I want to add my HTTP, but only for a certain subnet. I don't want everybody to have access to my HTTP, so I will use what is called the reach rule. So with the reach rule, I can do more advanced things. So I will say add reach rule, then I'll put a single quote here because I'll be writing multiple things, so I need to quote it. So a rule family. So rule family specifies that this rule is of IPv4. So that is important because you can have rule that applies to IPv6. So this applies to IPv4, and we want to the service that we are dealing with here. So we say service name equals to HTTP. So that's the service name that we are dealing with. And next, we put the source address. The source address is the address where we want we are allowing the service to come from. Let's say we only want to allow this service to come from a subnet of 192.168.2.0/24. I actually don't have this subnet, but I'm just using that as an example. So that's the source address. We can actually specify a single address. So if you need to specify a single address, you can do something like maybe 2.3/32. But let's say we want to apply to the whole of the subnet or 2.0 subnet, and then at the end we have to specify accept. So we are saying that is for traffic coming from this subnet trying to access HTTP, and which is of IPv4, we want to accept it. So we can make this rule permanent by using the permanent option. So you see it says success. So if we do firewall or firewall CMD list all now, I think my server is responding a little bit slow, but that's fine. So firewall CMD list all. So now there's going to be a reach rule under our listing now because we just added a reach rule. So with reach rule, we are able to do a little bit more advanced configuration. Okay, it's not showing up. Why not? So it's not showing up. There's a reason for that, because we have not reloaded the firewall. Remember, I said you use the permanent option. Whenever I use the permanent option, you have to reload. So let's reload. Sorry, my server is responding a little bit slowly because I'm running a lot of under background processes. So you see our reach rule appears here under when we did list all. So you see when we did list all earlier, the reach rule did not show up because we did not reload. So when after we did the reload and we list all again, the rule showed up. So we can do a lot more advanced things with this firewall CMD, but I think these are like little options that I decided to show in this video. And if you want to increase your knowledge, and if you want to know more about what you can do with this command, don't be afraid to look at the man pages. The man pages for Firewall CMD. See, and if you scroll to the bottom of this man pages, you actually are going to have examples. The examples, you see, there are examples: adding service, adding port, using the permanent option. So don't be scared to look at the man pages. Another man page that it will be interesting is the Firewall rich rule. The rich language man pages. So this gives you access to what you can do with the rich rule, because the rich rule is actually very important. You can do a lot of things with this. You can do logging, you see some of the actions you can take. You can accept, reject, you can log the message, you can limit, you can do some rate limiting on your traffic. So a lot you can mark. So you say accept, reject, drop, mark, log, update. So a lot of things you can do with the rich rule. I think the rich rule is actually where the advanced stuff are. If you are planning to write the RHCE exam, I will employ you to be very familiar with the rich rule. Personally, I've taken the RHCE exam, I passed, and I think Firewall is a very important topic that you need to get used to. So I think this is what I have for this video. Quickly, sorry, before I go, let me show you a file. Actually, this file contains where the things that is being written. Like I said, this command writes to file. So that is it's SC Firewall zones. Then the name of the zone, since our active zone is Federal Server. So if we look at this file, so actually everything that we did was actually written to this file. So the service names that are allowed, the rich rule that we configured, and some other information. So I think this is good enough, and if you want to know more, look at the man pages and try your hands out. So thank you for watching. Bye.